Hello, I'm Vernon Ryan, and I'd like to welcome you to a KK Smart short video snippet. We've decided to create these bite-sized snippets as extracts from all the video and webinar material we produce. Each snippet contains one powerful concept or idea, something that will improve the performance of your website. The intention is that you can grab it quickly and try it on for size. Think how it would impact the way your website fits into your business. When you want more ideas, another concept, come back, get another snippet, or go to our website and explore the material.
We can look at reducing the waste. We can ask about each important page and whether it's got a clear message. Now, we may see the answers, we may get figures out of Google Analytics to suggest the answers, but these are more basic questions. These are things that you can see by looking at the web page itself. Has it got a clear message? Has it got a prominent call to action? Is there something defined that you would like the person to do as a result of reading that page? Perhaps it's watch a video, perhaps it's sign up for something. Is there something that they should do as a result of reading that page? Are there those clear opportunities for the visitor to do something? And it's got two criteria that you have to apply. It's got to benefit them immediately in the current world, because the web is about immediate gratification, and it should also help you engage with them and start a marketing process. And that's why a lot of websites you'll see have got, would you like to download, would you like to consume this material, just sign up here and I'll send it to you. So it gives you the visitor something, a video, a PDF, a download of some sort that is of benefit to them, and it gives the provider of the website owner, some contact details so that they can start a marketing process, so they can start to engage with that visitor, start to learn more about what that visitor might want to do. Okay, so those are some questions, but in looking at those, you then get to identifying the waste, and you're going to need ways to measure how many people do that action, that clear action that you've identified on the page, and how many don't do that action. Now, that may not be as simple as leave the website. It may be actually wander around behaving a bit like the toddler in the sandpit. I'm a bit confused, I'll go off and find another page. Sometimes it can be, I'll go off and I'll find the About Us page, which may not be a negative. It may be that's interesting, I'd like to check these guys out. But then you get into, and what do they do on the About Us page? If that's an important page to you, you have to think about what people might do there. And the final, and perhaps the subtle thing that a lot of people miss, is how many people intended to take the action that you've put forward to them, that you've suggested to them, but don't actually complete. Now, sometimes it'll be because the phone rang, sometimes it will be because they get caught short, but sometimes it was because they were less than certain about what the implications were. You know, well, if I give them an email address, what's going to happen afterwards? That's the background to privacy policies, all the stuff about cookies that we're seeing. There's all sorts of things that are acting as reassurance mechanisms to make sure that fewer people get to a page, think about something and think, you know what, no, I'm not going to bother. Right? And this is where, as you've zeroed in from the whole website to perhaps just these 5 pages that you care about, that you can begin to measure in detail and get answers to these questions. And when you get numbers falling out of these, you can start to say, well, what if I change this element on the page? Could I move it so that another 5% did the thing that I want them to, and therefore 5% less were characterized as not interested? Now, some caveats, some things to bear in mind that I bring from my background in thinking about numbers. When you're looking at measuring, consider the use of ratios. You see, if you've got 100 people landing on a page and 50 of them, that will be a very high number, but 50 of them do the action that you have in mind, and it rises to 60, and you just present the raw numbers that says, well, in March I had 50, and in April I had 60, people might say, that's very good. But they don't know what percentage, what ratio of the people who looked at the pages. So if it was 50 out of 100, that's a really good page. That's working very well in comparison with most of the pages on the internet, because a lot of pages on the internet are going to struggle to be much better than 1 in 100. So it would be 50 in 5,000. Now, if 50 in 5,000 went to 60 in 5,000, that's a good result, but it's nowhere near as good as 50 out of 100 to 60 out of 100. So think about the use of ratios, because it isolates you from the overall traffic, the overall number of people who came to the website, went up, went down, and other things that are, to a greater or lesser extent, beyond your control. Run tests. Think about and test to see what you can affect. You can move things around. You can change the copy. You can change the colors. You can change the layout. There are all sorts of things that you can do. And think about this. Think about the cattle herder. Think about the cowboy, right, who constructs fences so that the animals don't get a chance to wander off the track. There's an intended path. Now, it seems to me that that's exactly the situation that we've got with a business. We may not be saying in quite such stark terms, here's the marked path, but we may actually want to construct a route that's easy to follow, that leads people toward the desired outcome. And can we improve the incentives? Is it that insufficient numbers are actually taking the action that we want taken because the incentive itself is not of high enough quality? It's all about perceived value. It's not the way that I view the incentives that I put on my website. It's the way that the people who arrive at the website look at them. And the same for your website. It's all about how the people who get there view what you're putting in front of them. How important is it to them? If they value it highly, then email address, not a problem. So think about those sorts of things as you measure and look for the trends. So some things I've picked out that you might want to look for as you look at pages. Are there important items below the fold? That's a term that comes from a newspaper background. If you look at the screen and you have to scroll down, it's often called being below the fold. And there are lots of pages where perhaps the important button on the form that is submit is below the fold. And somebody said, don't ever underestimate the laziness. You can't underestimate the laziness of your potential visitor. They may be too bone idle to scroll down the page. They may not be prepared to click a whole lot of times. They may not see the submit button if it's not made nice and bold and clear and standing out from the rest of the colors. One of my particular concerns and things I notice is that there are lots of websites where, shall I say, the web designer has been concerned to produce a really elegant look and feel, and all of the colors kind of blend into one another and look very much part of a piece, and all very corporate. And it looks very good until you say, so where was the button that you wanted them to press? And they struggle to find it. And at that point, you've got a lousy return from your website, because you've allowed the person who was more concerned with the corporate look and feel to determine the visibility of the submit button than somebody who says, let's make it really bold so they can't miss it. Extended rather than multi-page forms. One of the things, if you look at Amazon or some of the other e-commerce operations and big established websites, you'll see they're very clever at presenting the requirement to fill in information as a progressive task. And up front, they capture sufficient information, if they can, to allow them to go back and say, we realise you perhaps got interrupted doing this. Can we help you complete it? So laying it out in a series of things, so little by little people fill in information, rather than look at a page that's perhaps, 5 scroll lengths deep, got loads and loads of fields to fill in. And people go, no, I don't think I'm going to fill that in. So look at some of the really good shopping carts for ways in which you might lay out forms, if that's the kind of thing that you have on your website. Have you got confused or missing calls to action on the pages that you care about? Got multiple calls to action. Do things conflict with one another? If you looked at it in the cold light of day, would the person who...
Okay, that's one snippet. Now, whilst we'll be doing lots of these snippets, they'll come from all sorts of different places, and that means, frankly, they won't be spaced at some neat interval, something in the calendar. So the best plan by far is to subscribe to the YouTube channel. You should find a button above this video. The other thing you can do, of course, is go across to our website, www.kksmarts.com. That's KKSMARTS.com, and have a look at the other stuff that we do. All of our stuff is about making sure that clients get the return on investment they require. This is Vernon Riley saying thanks for watching. Bye for now.